Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Haven't posted a video in a while. Half of that was because of holidays, and the other half is honestly I didn't have anything to make content of. But that changes today because I have the 04 BMW Z4 in the garage, and we're gonna do, we as in Jarrett, checking our crypto right now that you've seen in other videos. We're gonna install some tasteful, stylish mods that I've been wanting to do. So we have a few planned, one of which is to change out these chrome or plastically chrome kidney grills for all black. I also ordered a clear, some side blinkers, so we're gonna swap those out for some clear ones. But the main event that I ordered is this APR carbon fiber splitter, which we'll unveil right now. Whew. So yeah, this should fit my application. It is meant for the Z4 and the M4 or M3 Z4. So yeah, I've looked online to try to find some other install videos of installing the splitter on this particular car. I did not find any, so I guess we'll be the guinea pigs in putting one on ourselves. But I did watch some other videos of guys putting this same exact splitter on their applications, whether it's a Mustang, Mitsubishi, what have you, and all of them put or remove the front bumper just to make it easier. So that's going to be our plan. We're gonna remove the front bumper and then install the splitter on the front bumper and then reinstall the front bumper. And hopefully, if all goes well, it'll look good when it's done. So there was some other plastic splitters I saw online that I didn't really care for. So this is carbon fiber, and I mean, it looks pretty damn good. I mean, just straight out of the box. So yeah, so I've never done this before, he's never done this before, but we'll see how it goes. It shouldn't be all that complicated to do. Just drill a couple of bolts and attach it, and yeah, but we'll go through the process and kind of give you some tips and tricks if we find any to make it a little bit easier if you guys end up deciding to do the same thing to your Z4. So anyways, let's get to it and start removing this front bumper. So the first order of business of removing the front bumper is you're going to have a Torx, a T27, and you're just going to start actually removing these little screws right here, and we'll take that off and then we'll move on to the other parts. So while Jarrett's finishing up that, I'm going to continue on, and on the inner front fender or bumper, there's these little pop plastic rivets that I believe I need to take off. So I should have a, yeah, right here. Get yourself one of these to make your life a little easier, and we'll pop these out on both sides. And I'm sure there's some underneath that need to be done as well, but we'll check that out when we get to it. Yeah, so just grab your, I don't even know what they call this tool, but just makes those popping out those rivets a lot easier than using like a screwdriver for instance. And they just pop out like that. And yeah, hopefully these are reusable. If not, I have some extras that we could put in its place. But yeah, so it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do the other side and go from there. So as you can see, these are removed. We removed them on both sides. And then now underneath, there's a few more. So we got like one right here, another one here, and then some here, and they just all go down alongside. So I'm gonna start removing those, and then once we have that all undone, I think the bumper is ready to be removed, but we'll see, because again, we've never done this before, but I think after this we're good. So we unbolted all the screws on the bottom using a 5/16 ratchet. The only issue that we came upon is that we have this hose.
I'm gonna try to get this guy and that guy and leave the hose attached to the car.
That's attached. The problem is it's on there, like welded on, and we're having a hard time getting this hose unattached. But once we can get that unattached, then we'll have the bumper free and be able to start mocking up where we want the splitter to go. So yeah, this is just the hardest part of it so far for us. So as you can see, we were successful in removing the front bumper. We got the hoses off. We just used some soapy water that this hose is attached to. So we had to basically clamp it down because it was just pouring out water, which I seem to believe is the windshield washer, because I think there's a windshield washer tank, and there's all the hoses that are attached, and it's water, it's not antifreeze, so I'm pretty confident that it's just water that is leaking out, but I can't confirm it either. So so we plugged the hoses just so it would kind of stop leaking as best as it could. So next thing we're gonna do is, get this mounted on top of the splitter, kind of make our marks of where we need to drill, and as long as we're satisfied on how it looks, we'll basically tape it so we know where to drill and get started on the process of that. So all in all, it wasn't too bad removing the front bumper. Again, just a bunch of screws and little plastic rivets. We broke a couple. And then I also broke there's a little patch panel that I believe is for the windshield washer. This little piece right here, one of the clips was already broken, so I gotta order a new one of those. But other than that, yeah, it was actually not too bad to remove. So yeah, so we're gonna start the process now of mounting it on the splitter, see how we like it, where we want it mounted, and then we'll show you the process of how that looks. So we're making progress. We got the front bumper on top of the splitter, as you can see, and then we have it clamped in place where we feel it's as centered as it's going to be. So if we walk around to here, you can see the APR logo, which is centered with the grill, and then obviously, as you can see, as you scroll, we put in the kidney inlets. It was just a lot easier, obviously, with the bumper off than having it on. So those are already installed. And yeah, now we're getting ready to just drill our pilot holes, and so we could start securing it. So far so good. It's coming along, and I don't know if we should be done here. Well, let's not put the car. Yeah, let's not put the car in front of the horse. But progress is going rather smoothly so far. While it was clamped, what we did was we drilled through, as you could see and as you saw, the sides. But then what we also did is drill just a little indentation into the splitter so we could remove the bumper, and then drill through it so it's not at an angle trying to go through the bumper and go through the splitter at the same time. So now that we have those marked out, yeah, you gonna go, Jarrett? And let's drill some holes. And for this, we're just going per the instructions, and they recommended a 9mm drill bit, or 6mm, which is equivalent to like 9/32 or something like that. So yeah, we have that part done, and we are going by the instructions step by step. We're not just kind of like as I was probably going to do, just like figure it out as I go. But no, we're gonna go through the instructions as they were written and follow them step by step, so it comes out correctly. So that is the plan. So yeah, we're on to the next step, whatever that is. Okay, so came into a little issue. Little. Anyways, when I bought the splitter, obviously I have a 04 Z4, and the kit came with these spacers that they wanted you to put in between here, and we did that, but it didn't look right to me. And then there was a big gap here when you had the spacer here. It opened up like a decent sized gap there, and it just didn't look right. So when we looked at the instructions, it said it was for an 06 through what, 08 BMW Z4. Again, this is a 04. I had reached out to APR previously asking if it would fit my car. They said yes. So I believe those spacers are just for the later years, the 06 to 08 version versus mine. So the good news is we didn't ruin anything by putting those spacers in. In fact, it just gave us a little mark to drill holes, because we're still going to use the exact same holes. This is where they wanted the spacers under, and this is exactly where we're going to be putting the remaining bolts. So this will go through here like so. So we'll have one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that will hold the splitter down. And then the only thing that we need to figure out on the front end is basically where do we want the support rods to go, and if we want them to go vertical or more on a horizontal angle, which I think we're both liking the horizontal a little bit better. So we just gotta figure out where exactly we want to place these, and then we'll put the bumper back on the car, bolt everything up. The only thing I hope I don't have too many issues is that plastic pan, and there was like another piece that fell off when I unbolted that plastic pan. So I had to figure out what that piece that's a little further out where it belongs, because like I said, once that pan dropped, that other piece dropped, and I was like, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. So anyways, yeah, so we're gonna tighten up these bolts and then start putting the bumper back on, and then you'll have a pretty good idea of what the car looks with the splitter installed. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, we have the splitter mounted to the front bumper, or front end, if you will. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws, bolts holding it in. These are actually using the factory locations of the front bumper, so we didn't have to really drill anything new into the factory plastic. We just used the existing holes. So got that all sorted down. We put some Loctite on there as well, just to make sure that they don't come loose, and can kind of get an idea of how it looks. Again, we put in the new kidney grills, so that's blacked out. I removed the front license plate cover, which was this kind of chrome emblem deal. I tried to clean it up. You can see there's a little discoloration where it goes from chrome to like almost like a matte finish, because it's been covered for so long. So I don't know, I'm either going to just leave that off and maybe do the kind of like clay bar it out and see if that helps bring back the shine. Worst case scenario is I'll put this back on and I'll get like a blacked out front license plate cover. So I'm gonna leave it off there for now, just because I like the way it looks completely blacked out without that plastic. And like I said, I'll try to clay bar it or something a little bit later, so it's a little bit more universal and gloss. I guess worst case scenario is, if I really wanted to, I gotta have the holes covered and then have this repainted. But there's really not a lot of paint chips on this front bumper, so it kind of seems like a lot of work just to cover up the license plate holes and have it reshot. But who knows? I may do that just because I don't like the way it looks. So that's basically what I'm waiting on. So I got some headlight covers, like a laminate that goes over the headlights, that I'm waiting to be delivered. And I think it's coming U.S. mail. So I usually get mail somewhere around this time. So I'm hoping they are delivered soon, because I'd rather do it with the bumper off, because I have a little bit more access to it than with it on. So that's what I'm kind of like holding off on that right now. And then you have the new Jarrett has the new side lights, blinker lights, and I think they just twitched off, but you haven't really tried it.
I can't get it.
You can't get it? Okay. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh wait, hang on.
From what I watched on YouTube, it just
If you have a video on YouTube, let's figure out which one.
Yeah, so we'll watch that real quick. Make sure we don't break the side marker lights before continuing, so we don't. Next thing I know, I'm buying new fenders because we messed it up. So we'll get back at it. We'll get those taken care of, and then hopefully start putting the front end back on. All right, we got the splitter installed on the front bumper. So as you can see, we just got done fixing these, I guess, strut bars, if you will. We decided to basically put them in the center and then angle them out towards the outside versus going to the inside, or some guys like to run them straight up and down. We just thought it looked better going to the outside, and so what we ended up doing is using this little hole here that was, factory, and then using that as a reference point to screw in to bolt. So we drilled into here first, again using this as a reference point, and then that one as a reference point. And then what we were able to do is bring that down and then kind of see how we wanted to place it. And again, we decided towards the outside, and then I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, again, now you can kind of see that where the license plate was, it's obviously has dried and there's definitely discoloration there. So I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about it. All right, so Jarrett just left. It is not installed, as you can see. So part of the issue that I ran into, or that we ran into, is so we mounted the splitter to the factory mounting holes as I showed you, but now obviously when we go to put it onto the car, like here's here's one of the mounting holes and here's the other. We found ourselves not having like access to get to them from behind to actually get our hands in there to tighten them up. So that's kind of been part of the issue. I don't think it didn't say anything about the instructions, but this was like the panel that came off the car. So this was kind of basically like it went in here. So I don't know if we're supposed to reuse this. I might try to undo the bolts and bolt that back into there and see how that is, but it's really this bolt and that bolt are the keys. These I could obviously bolt back in. So I think while he's not here, I'm gonna do that. That way I still have this. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I think that's the right thing to do. So I'll work on that, and then Oh, I got the Lamin-X or Lamin-X, however you want to pronounce it. Just got that in the mail, so I'm gonna work on trying to these are for the fog lights that are in there, obviously, so I'm gonna try to get these installed and then work on the headlights for tomorrow. When he's back, then we're gonna try to install the bumper too. One of our thoughts is, since this is just plastic anyways, maybe just cutting these tabs so these bolts can just go through those tabs, you know, just go up in there. And then using like a self-tapping screw and just doing maybe like drew like 4 times into this plastic piece just to give it a little bit some more rigidity. So that's pretty much the plan right now. Again, I think I'm gonna start working on that plastic panel, getting that attached to the splitter, and then work on the fog lights and go from there. So he'll be back tomorrow morning, and we're gonna kind of put our brains together to figure out the best way to get this, you know, back onto the car. So like I said, this is supposed to be for 06, 08, mine's a 04, so it doesn't really match up, you know, as it should. So we're gonna have to do some MacGyvering to make it all work, but I think at the end of the day we'll get it. It's just a matter of figuring out what our best options are and being able to fit our hands into places to make everything secure. So I'm gonna work on that now and go work on the fog lights here in a bit after I get done with that. All right, welcome back. It's day 2. Where I left off yesterday, you could see I put this pan on when Jarrett went home. We may or may not, or we may or may have to remove it. But the good news is, when we were looking at it, I've never changed the oil in the car, but the oil filter's right there. So if I can, I'm gonna leave it. I'd like to leave it, but if we can't, then we'll remove it. So what we're gonna do now, first thing, is work on the headlight tint that I bought. I did the fog lights last night, so we're gonna get the headlight tint on while the bumper is still off, and then we'll go straight to trying to fit the bumper. We got some self-tapping screws, so I think what the plan is going to be is to self-tap probably 3 or 4 right in this area right here, just to hold the splitter, because we might have to remove this one right here in order to get the bumper onto the car. And this is another one that might be a little sketch too. But so that's the plan. Put a few self-tappers here. That should be sufficient enough. And then we'll basically go from there and see what other issues, if any, that we run into. So that's the plan for now. We're gonna get started on the headlights and then move over to the putting the front bumper on. All right, so we got an update for you. Jared and I successfully installed the splitter and bumper. It took some backyard engineering, as you will, to get everything to fit and line up. We had to basically cut out some tabs from the factory bumper because they weren't going to line up with the splitter that was now there. So we just had to, basically make our own points of attachment, which I'll show you. But this is the splitter attached on there, and I'll crawl underneath real quick. And so these are what we added just to give it a little bit more structural stability. So this was like the factory one, and This one actually is not really bolted down to anything as far as like the inside of the fender well. So we had to cut that, so it just kind of slides into the tab that was already there. But then we added these, and I was able to, down here, kind of get those into the factory plastic shield. And then on the other side, we basically did the same thing. So you can see right here, we added a couple of self-tapping screws, and all these other ones that you see there is how the splitter is held onto the bumper. So it is, yeah, I mean it's pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, I mean we're pretty happy with the way that it turned out, and I'm gonna get it off the ramps here and kind of see what it looks like, you know, with the hood closed and in its final form. So yeah, so anyways, it took not a lot longer than we anticipated. We could have got it done yesterday, but he had some stuff that he had to take care of later in the day, and we were kind of just, I don't know, kind of like, let's regroup, think about what we want to do today, which is Sunday, and attack at it from there. So we kind of came up with a game plan. It worked out. It fit like it, well, not like it should, because it's really built for an 06 through 08, but the form of it fits the car. So yeah, so like I said, I haven't seen anybody post any Z4s with this splitter, the APR racing splitter. So if you're thinking about putting one onto your car, yeah, you do have to do some of your own ingenuity. I think that's what I said. Ingenuity, I think that's how you pronounce it, to make it all work. But again, when you're dealing with doing something custom, nothing ever goes as expected. You're always going to have to, you know, figure out a way to make it work, which is exactly what we had to do here today. But we also got these clear markers, turn signals. So we got those installed. Basically just uses some 3M tape to attach adhesive itself to it. And so yeah, so I got those on, and basically got the tint on the headlights, which I'll show here shortly. And it completely changes the look of the car, at least the front of the car, in my opinion. Actually, in the back of my Honda, there are brand new wheels that are also, I want to get them powder coated, but they are here, so I just need to drop them off, pick a color that I would like, and then basically get them powder coated, get them, you know, mounted, and that will be another step in changing the look of this car. I really am not a fan of the current factory wheels. They just, I don't know, they just don't do anything for me. So change them up. I'll show you what those wheels look like in a further episode. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know we didn't go step by step and show you everything, but it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty easy. There's basically 3 different types of bolts. You have these the Torx that we showed you up there, and then we have the little clips on the side, and then underneath, I believe they are an 8mm bolt that holds a lot of like the underband, belly, and stuff like that. So overall, I do suggest, if you are going to do it, to definitely have a helping hand taking on and off the front bumper. It's not really an easy one-person job to kind of get everything lined up. So if you do have plans on putting a splitter on, I definitely would suggest having helping hands. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. There'll be more videos dropping shortly, and have yourself a great week, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.